Hello, my name is Alun, and today I'm facilitating the first of a long series, we hope, that will run for the next month or two, of my own gaming development of Dark Age heroes confronting the dark and protecting the innocent. It's called Eotenweard, and at some point it may be out there in the world. This is a kind of final, in a way, extended playtest because I'm going to be testing a number of the broader mechanics of the game. It is set about 200 years after the Roman legions depart. That places it about 200 years before, for those of you familiar, the time of the Last Kingdom, and also about 200 years before the Age of Vikings as portrayed in the Vikings TV series. But in terms of the look and feel of the world, they're still pretty solid. The other inspiration I guess is, as well as Bernard Cornwell's Last Kingdom, there's also his Warlord trilogy, which is Arthurian. So that's where some of the inspiration for this comes from. And also fair to say that the idea of monster hunting is probably deeply seated in Monster of the Week. So that's another inspiration for this. So that's the nature of the game. This game is organized as part of the Open Hearth gaming community's, online gaming community's monthly calendar. If you want to know more about Open Hearth, please search Open Hearth gaming community. You'll find out more about us. There is a Patreon that supports us to put stuff on and to organize the calendar and stuff like that. The calendar has a large number of games on every month. If you'd like to play with us, then please come look at the calendar. It's not a closed calendar. You get to, there is an advantage of being a patron because you get slightly longer to RSVP to games, but still. If you would like to come and try playing with us to see if our table culture is good for you, then the weekend of the 12th of November is our first Open Hearth gaming weekend, which is an opportunity for you to come and play in a series, a bunch of one-shots that we're putting on, just to see whether you like the way we do things. So look us up. It's transformed my role-playing in the last 4 or 5 years. And as part of that, we are playing with what we think is a really solid table culture. We have a set of community guidelines that all of these are experienced Open Hearth players, so I know I don't have to reinforce those. I sometimes summarize them as they ensure no one is a dick. And we're also playing with a set of safety rules, layered safety rules, tools. We're playing with the X card and with lines and veils. I've played with these players enough. I don't have to define those. If you need to work out what they are, please just go look them up. We're also playing with an open door, because if something happens, if we don't feel great, or if something happens in the real world, you just need to duck out, that's fine. And nice to know if people are coming back, but there's no pressure. And finally, we'll be finishing the sessions with Stars and Wishes, just a debrief, to give people a chance to just highlight the stuff that they'd like to see more of, maybe, and the stuff that they'd like to see less of, or we're uncertain about. That's a useful tool. So that's the pitch. Let's introduce the players. So in the order of the character keeper, Paul, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Black Jell.
Hello, my name's Paul, he, him, and the character I'm starting playing this session with is Black Jell. Black Jell is the Loon. He is of Saxon descent. He is one-eyed, that wanders, and heavily scarred, covered in dirt and filth, and wears slightly decaying animal skins.
That is delightful, and I shall really enjoy asking the other characters why it is that you were traveling with Black Jell. Badly cured animal hides. What could go wrong? Okay, moving along. Will, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Solinus.
Hi, my name is Will. My pronouns are he, him, as are those of Solinus. Solinus is from quite far away. I think he's from the far city of Londinium. He is a cut purse and a blade for hire, a man who lived only for wine and hedonism in the dying days of the Roman settlements of Britain. And yeah, he was once quite a bit of a wrong'un, but it was how he survived. And when he was forced to cut down his own brother who betrayed him and tried to take him out, he prayed that the gods would answer him and stitch together the wound that he'd inflicted on his brother's stomach and make it all right again. And his brother was spared. And so Solinus fled north, the other blades still after him, and with many people rumoring whispers of witchcraft and heresy.
That's great. Next, Sabine, say hello, tell us what your pronouns, introduce us to Cadog.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm going to play Cadog of the Order of St Adrian. A wandering knight, I guess, proto-knight maybe, weaponsmith, weapon fixer, someone who runs around, goes to church occasionally because it's sort of God and has to actually kind of worship God, because that's what the order is about, right? Finding monsters, hitting them over the head with a weapon that is hopefully well made for the purpose. Cadog is tall, well muscled. Well, it has a bit of an intense look. Not a great talker though, and his robes are a little scruffy from traveling a lot. He has a horse named Delilah. The horse is far more social than Cadog himself, and I think the horse might be the reason why he's hanging out around with these people, because the horse likes them. And okay, fine. That's God's will. Clearly, that's God's will then.
God's will. That covers a lot of ground, doesn't it? And finally, Jose, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Fynn.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Jose, and my pronouns are he and him. And I'm playing Fynn, whose pronouns are also he and him. And Fynn is a skin changer. He wasn't always a skin changer, but he was just a regular old pagan Briton living in a small village. But he was out with a hunting party in the middle of winter. And they, after making a kill, a pack of wolves attacked them. And the pack of wolves took out the entire party, and Fynn prayed to the Celtic god Cernunnos at that point, and somehow he was mauled but survived the attack, and afterwards realized that a beast was growing within him in the form of a wolf. And so he now periodically or always struggles with a wolf-like nature within him, but sometimes transforms his body into that shape or variations on that shape.
Right. And the reason that these four are traveling together is that they have all been gifted by their gods. So I would like just to run through what gift your various gods have given you to enable you to protect the innocent from the darkness. So let me go all the way back to Black Jell.
Hello, my gift from the gods is they sometimes grant me an insight into the intention of others.
Okay. I think you've hinted at this already, I think for Solinus, Will, but just to be clear.
Solinus' gift is, what's it called again? It has a specific name, Pain's Balm. My god sometimes grants me the power to heal, clear dying, or erase to condition. So what we have is a murderer, a thief and a murderer who has the power to heal people.
Such is the joy of turning away from the dark path that he was on. And what about Cadog, our sort of god?
I'm the sort of god. My god sometimes hurts others for me, mostly when I'm hitting them with the sword. Sometimes they get a migraine when they hear me talking, apparently.
And finally, what sight has Cernunnos granted you, perhaps in a way to balance the curse of your bestial nature, Fynn?
Yes, so since the incident, the inciting incident of the attack of the wolf pack and the granting of his bestial nature, Fynn has had dreams where he sees things that sometimes come to pass or sometimes are happening elsewhere. And sometimes he has waking visions even. He doesn't control them, but he sees things that perhaps he shouldn't see at times.
Okay. So that is our cast of characters. We are going to begin by just talking about why it is, and there is a place down on row 51 of the character keeper for you lot to put something down. Your destiny. How do you know your destiny is bound to that of these other heroes? Because you are bound together. But you're an unlikely bunch because we got two Christians, a Saxon, and a pagan, a Celtic pagan. Which is quite thin on the ground at this time. So again, I think let me go in reverse order this time, just take a bit of pressure off Paul. So Jose, how do you know your destiny is bound to that of the other heroes?
I think Fynn has been having dreams in which these other heroes have appeared. And so I won't list them all, but let me just give you a taste of one. He had a dream of a solitary oak on a hilltop, and as he approached the oak, there were thunderclouds in the background, and then he saw that a man was hanging by one foot, tied into the tree, and it was Black Jell. And he approached Black Jell's eyes popped open, and he says, "Well, it's about time you got here." And then the dream ended. And so when
Like
he did
that?
meet Black Jell, he knew that he should stay with him.
I like that. If you could just put a sentence to summarize that in that slot, just as an aid memoir, in case we return to some of these ideas, that'd be great. Moving along, what about Cadog? How do you know that your destiny is bound to that of the other heroes?
Yeah, I said maybe it's not solely the horse, but I think when I met them, the horse liked them, and then we got probably attacked by something, and for whatever reason, everybody was useful during the fight. And yeah, so I thought, well, maybe that's a sign from God. Maybe maybe my superior in the order said, "Go hence and to this crossroads, and whoever you meet there shall be your boon companions." And that was these three guys. Yeah.
So practically prophecy.
Yeah. Or maybe my superior doesn't like me much. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And you just got lucky with who turned up, but the horse likes them, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Is there one of them that the horse likes most?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the horse likes Solinus most. Because yes, I mean, I guess the horse can sense a little that he has healing powers, and also he can steal stuff for the horse.
Never short of an apple.
The horse does not mind. It does have a very loose relationship to personal possessions.
So a morally dubious horse. Okay. What about Solinus? What leads you to believe that your destiny is bound to these heroes?
Because I've seen the strange things that they can do, and I can also do these strange things. So why there must be a reason for all of it. There must be some reason why we must be chosen by the gods. Do I believe in them? I guess they believe in me.
Fine. So belief that somebody cares, somebody thought there was value in you, and that's true of these as well. I like that. Finally, Paul, what about Black Jell? The Loon could go anywhere with this, I guess.
The gods showed me a vision that all four of us will one day bathe in a river of blood.
Okay. So when you came across them, you knew that they were the ones. Wow. Okay. So brilliant, thank you. As the mechanics unroll, we may get glimpses into your past. That's what that slot underneath there is for, where it says record aspects of your life before you were touched here, as they are revealed. So we've got a little sense from some of you, but we'll add some more detail to that conceivably in play. Okay, so this group then they travel together for the reasons we've talked about. Let's look at the arriving moves. So when you first come in sight of a settlement, and this is the settlement that you have been guided to, I'll ask you what brought you here, or why each of you thinks there is something here worth, that this place is a settlement worthy of your concern. The settlement is a Saxon settlement in the Kingdom of Deira, which is the area of the north of Britain around York and the Humber, for those of you familiar with our local geography. Thrydingas, you come over the brow of a hill and there is Thrydingas, this settlement. You are going to tell me who your supporting cast is at Thrydingas, right? That's where we're going to start. So if you look at the Thrydingas tab, you will see that there are significant people of the settlement. Each of you gets to choose a descriptor, and either the place of this non-player character, this supporting cast, in the hall, which is close to the ruling class, or in the village. So I've started with Paul, I've started with Sabine. Let me now start with Will. I won't be able to keep this sequencing up, but it's worth a shot. So Will, in this settlement, who would you like to be, a significant NPC? And what descriptor do you want to attach to them? Each of you is going to create one.
I'm going to roll for it.
Oh,
yeah, significant people of the village, right? So I should roll just 2d6. Yeah,
2d6 will give you a descriptor, yeah.
2d6. That is 2 and 4. So that is a dishonest. And then the next one is place.
That's trickier because you kind of need to make a choice whether it's hall or village.
Okay, well then high is village, low is hall. I'll roll 1d6. We have village. So now I'll roll 2d6. 5 and 5. Ooh. A dishonest slave.
My goodness me. Right, now you'll see that there's a kind of schematic for the village. If in one of those boxes you put your dishonest slave and then name them and give them some pronouns, that would be really handy. So we have a dishonest slave who is going to be part of the narrative. I think next that takes me to Sabine. Sabine, what do you want here? And I'm sorry, I'm just going to tick dishonest and slave because those are now off the table.
Okay, I'll roll for the descriptor. I have a 1 and a 2, so it's an ambitious. What are you? Are you in? I think it's an ambitious alewife.
Ooh,
Yep.
ambitious alewife. Okay,
Ambitious
so
alewife.
so if you add your ambitious alewife to the village, then and give her a name. Oh, I mean, an alewife could be a he, him, or a they, them. It's a role.
It's a she, and I think she has an inflated name. Let's say she has an inflated name. Her name is Buberga.
Okay.
Or you want.
With intentions above her station.
Yes.
So and finally, Jose, who do you want to encounter in the village, and what is their descriptor?
How about a storyteller who is Dangerous, that's anyway.
Oh, a dangerous storyteller. Fine. Well,
Yeah.
that's a hall roll. So put them inside the hall of the Lord or Lady of Thrydingas. And finally,
Okay.
Paul, who do you want? What kind of person do you want to bump into here?
Let's go for a greedy priest of Woden.
Okay. So if you want to put them, that's another hall roll. So put your greedy priest of Woden inside the hall and give him a name. And then I get to select a name and characteristics for the Lord. I think I'm going to go with. I think yeah, it's always a good bet. I'm going to go with a naive Lord. And let's give him a name. Guildhelm. Okay, naive Lord Guildhelm. And that's a he, him. Okay. Dongar, the greedy priest of Woden, he, him.
Yep.
Okay. And Isolt, yes, she, her. So a rich starting cast of characters. It may be that we create some other ones in play, depending on how things go. But that's a good place to be starting. The other thing that we are going to create is 2 places of interest in nearby that could be significant to our narrative. So one of you, you're going to work in pairs. One of you is going to pick a descriptor, and one of you is going to pick what it is. So I think I've started with everyone but Sabine. Yeah,
I think
yes,
that's
that doesn't help. They're in a different order.
anyway.
So what do you want to choose, a descriptor or a place?
I want to choose a descriptor. I want to choose sinister.
Okay, tick sinister and bung it in one of those boxes on nearby places of interest. Let's go, keep going in that direction. Jose, it's a sinister what?
It is a sinister Fynn.
Okay, tick Fynn, and once Sabine hits return on sinister, you can add Fynn. And then let me keep going that direction. Paul, do you want to choose a location or a place or a descriptor?
Let's go for a descriptor, stinking.
Okay, well, a stinking what?
I rolled a 6 and a 2, so that's a stinking river.
Oh, right, fine. So we'll tick stinking. We got river. If the pair of you can take turns to put that in that slot, that would be great. So that is our place. And I think probably as you come over the crest of the hill and we see that, we will see maybe Effa, the dishonest slave. We'll cut to the village and just see our supporting cast. Effa, the dishonest slave, has come from the river and is holding her nose, has a rag over her face, because the water is clearly polluted with something. But as she is making her way back to the village with maybe one of those kind of poles with 2 buckets on, we'll see another villager, nameless villager, coming towards her, and she tucks something inside her robe, inside her tunic, just to keep something that perhaps she has stolen, I don't know, out of sight. And she looks generally suspicious. What about the ambitious alewife? I think that maybe we see Beoburger is showing off and is is showing off the quality of her ale, and we see two nameless villagers saying one to the other, "She's got ideas above herself, that woman. The ale's no better than it ever was. Bayo Burger." And maybe the dangerous storyteller. I'm not sure that we see Iseult. Difficult to see any danger here yet, but I think she is probably telling Lord Guildheim. Naive Lord Guildheim. She is probably telling him some slightly scary story about monsters and the dark. While Dongar, the greedy priest of Woden, is stuffing his face in the Great Hall. And that, I think, sets our scene. Sulphurous water, yes, conceivably sulphurous water. That would be relevant to you Christians. So that's our supporting cast. What I need to know is, how do you know that your gods have sent you here? So there's a set of questions under signs of importance on arriving or leaving, and this is an opportunity to begin to shape what's going on here. Yeah. So ask each of you to answer a question that will help define the reason your gods have guided your footsteps here. It's an opportunity for you to begin shaping the nature of the darkness in this place. So, the more you can build on this, the better. So let's ask, let me go back to Paul. What hints at the settlement's previous prosperity?
The stinking river
Go on.
is the woes of the settlement. It never used to be a stinking river.
Okay, so give me some leftover sign of its previous prosperity.
Dead fish.
So it was once rich in fish.
With fish, yep. But now the banks are strewn with dead, rotting carcasses.
And that might be the stench, mightn't it? Those rotting fish. That might work. Okay. Moving on. What hints at the settlement's current woe? What seems wrong here? Let me go in sequence across. So Will, other than the rotting fish, what else hints at this settlement's current woe? What seems wrong here?
The people, their talismans, their huts are marked with symbols of the gods. They're either extremely pious, or they're desperately clutching at straws to try and gain favor.
So either which way, they're marked with protective symbols.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly done for a very small fee of some kind by Donga,
The priest of Woden.
Yeah.
I wonder. Let me come next to Cadog. Why are you worried by this place? I mean, apart from the stench and the fact that as you begin to move through the village, you see these, from your point of view, pagan Saxon protective symbols marked on the lintels of the huts.
I remember hearing a legend about this place from my order, and that legend said that they used to worship or be plagued by, it's a bit unclear, a fish demon.
Ooh.
Or a god or something. I mean, these people would call everything a god if it's just slightly mysterious.
Fine. Okay. They were somehow connected to a fish demon, is how I've kind of shorthanded that. We'll work loosely on that. And finally, Jose, why is this place worth saving? What redeeming feature?
I think you can see all these nets hung out to dry and fishing equipment, and you can tell that this was a very industrious town. Really, that the people were hardworking, and there's not much happening right now. And there's a certain look in their eye of despair, but you know, at one point, yeah, they were happy and at work as a prosperous fishing town.
Fine. And if only you could drive back the darkness, they would be willing and able, perhaps, to get back on their
Bounce
feet.
back.
Okay. We move on to seek hospitality. When you first arrive at a settlement, each hero presents themselves at its hall to seek hospitality from the Lord or Lady of the hall. It's an opportunity to restate or emphasize your looks or callings. We've done that now, just so I'm not going to stretch that one. It is a matter of honor to always offer hospitality to worthy visitors, and all you are worthy until proven otherwise. So long as you deposit all your weapons except for an eating knife at the door, because, you know, ale and weapons don't mix. Hospitality requires the Lord to protect you, so you shouldn't need anything else. So you leave them on a bench by the door as you go in, where the scene that was unfolding earlier, this the storyteller up on the high table with the Lord telling him a story, and him, you know, all wide-eyed at the story, and Dongar, you know, just troughing on food, and looking up. Who is it who speaks for you? Which one of you do you think is the person with the social status to do this, or is there someone else who steps up?
I mean, I would dearly love if Black Jell is not perhaps our agreed upon spokesperson, but is indeed the loudest of us.
Yeah, I think probably Cadog is the person with the social status. I mean, hellfire, Cadog has a horse. And
Yeah,
a
but
sword.
I need to take care of my horse first before we go
Right.
in, and that's probably somebody else gets. I would talk. I would be the first to talk if I ever found the right, and then somebody else starts out, because I'm still looking for this thing. What's the word? Yes. Anyway.
Black
Lord,
Jell?
ladies, I have heard the colour of the smell of this place, and it troubles the gods, and they have sent us here to investigate the woes. What ails you as a settlement?
And I think Dongal looks at me and says, well, the fish keep dying. And Guildhelm says, well, I suppose you have the benefit of my hospitality. We were about to serve food, though Dongar has started early, and at that point, other people begin to come into the hall. Most people eat together here. Those with a bit more status nearer to the Lord, the riffraff, down at the bottom, and then slaves or servants to serve. And it must be said that the food put before you is pretty meager. The welcome seemed honest enough, but then something happens. So we're at Shadows Lengthen.
One question.
Oh yes,
I do have a start of session move.
you do.
Do
What
not
I'd like
know
to
when that would happen. It was just
what I'd like to suggest we do the inciting incident first, and then it could well be that that's the point at which you want to trigger it, or immediately afterwards. So Shadows Lengthen, the Fates will ask the players to agree which inciting incident disturbs their meal and hints at the darkness they have come to face. So there is a choice of 4, broadly. There is a heated conversation between NPCs. Something supernatural occurs. The doors of the hall burst open, or something even more flavorful or interesting happens. Does anybody want to bid for one of those? Black Jell wants to bid for one of those.
Does that mean bid for one of those?
Wants to put one on the table to see whether.
Oh, okay, okay. I have an idea.
Go on, Black Jell. What are you thinking?
We hear the screaming of the fish dying on the banks, as if they've got a human-esque voice.
Sabine, does Cadog want to trump that one?
No, I was going with fish start falling from the rafters, but we can combine this maybe.
Well, what about fish fall from the rafters screaming? Yeah, I mean, that seems to me to be something supernatural occurs as a broad category. So let me ask, so the pair of you kind of did that. So let me go to Jose. Something supernatural. What do you see or hear that suggests the supernatural is involved? Is there anything else other than what's already been described? Oh, you are muted. There you go.
There we go. I think the screams, the human-like screams of the fish, also are accompanied by what feels like a drop in temperature, and everyone sees their breath all of a sudden, even though the hall inside is relatively warm. And so everyone's chilled to the bone by the screams.
I like that. Let me go to Will and ask you, which NPC looks most surprised or worried or threatened? I mean, my guess is that people leap to the sides of the hall screaming themselves. But in all of that, who looks most surprised, worried, or threatened?
Surprised, worried, or threatened. Okay. I think that Aoife, the slave, looks the most worried.
Okay.
And I think that she's holding her hands to her ears, and maybe even whispers. You can hear her voice mumbling, "Not again."
Well, let's leave that bit. Let's just, because in all the screaming, we'll let you investigate some more around that. Paul, you came up with the screaming fish, I think. So Sabine, let me ask you, which NPC looks most unsurprised or hopeful or even pleased or welcoming?
Sorry, finding the unmute button. I think it's the storyteller. She looks kind of pleased. She was at a point in her story where screaming fish falling from the ceiling made a perfect point in her story. So she looks pleased. Maybe because of that. Maybe because of something totally.
Maybe because of that. Maybe because of something else? Question mark. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so this happens. What do you do? I think I'll probably go to Cadog first, because maybe there is a protective sense of running through Cadog. So what does Cadog do?
Cadog is not, I mean, these are normal sized fish, right? They're not fish monsters. And all he has is a knife, and you probably can't eat them anyway. So I think, what is he doing? He is,
I mean, he doesn't have to do anything. He just go stand there with wide eyes if he wants to.
No, I think he will start thinking about stories that he heard from his order and this fish thing, God, that he heard about. So he'll mumble a prayer, probably. That seems, yeah, mumble a prayer. That's a good. That's a fair.
I mean, are you looking to trigger ancient learning?
Yeah, I would like to do that, because
Yeah,
that seems like something you can actually use here.
So when you consider the teachings of your order, roll plus sense.
Okay, and this is a PbtA game, right? Or is it? So do I have to roll some weird colored dice?
No, it's 2d6, sometimes with advantage or disadvantage. So
okay, cool. I need 2d6. I'm sorry, but
There should be a set sitting on the table.
Yeah, but I have to have the perfect d6s. There's one, there's the other, and I'm rolling them. There's an 8 plus my sense, which is +1, so I've had the 9.
The teachings tell of a task to be completed in order to gain the knowledge you desire. I think that probably a midnight vigil is necessary for you to gain any understanding of what's gone on.
Okay.
You know, it's one of those things that your order does. They kneel holding their swords in a, you know, a typical kind of vaguely Arthurian knight manner.
That means that I have to go and get my sword, which
it also means that you have to go out at night on your own at midnight. So put a pin in that for a moment.
Yeah.
I think probably I'm going to go to Black Jell next, because the sense I get with Black Jell is he's not someone who sits about. So Black Jell, what do we see on screen when this happens from you?
I think Black Jell will sort of leap off the bench he's on and sort of take up a very low squat on the ground, pick up a large fish and bring it to his face, kiss it, and then start going, and I will activate my speaking in tongues,
When
which
you
oddly
noisily
doesn't have a 10+ thing.
No, on 7+ you get what you want. 7 to 9 offers you a disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah. So on 7+, noisily draw attention to yourself by shouting gibberish. Roll plus sense.
So I
Ooh.
rolled 9 plus my sense of 2. That's quite large. That's 11.
There you go. So say who or what stops doing what they were doing, confused, allowing another hero to act unopposed. No downside.
I think the slave girl stops whatever she was doing.
Just frozen. She was looking worried and she's just frozen in place. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to Solinus next, because Solinus, you had spotted that Effa was looking worried. What, if anything, do we see you doing now that she's frozen in place and you have an option to act unopposed?
I step smoothly in between her and Black Jell, who I think is perhaps squatting on the table above her, holding that fish and bellowing, and she looks horrified and her eyes, wide and staring. And Solinus will step in between and like crouch down and take her by the shoulders and move her away from Black Jell and say, there, girl. There's no need. Pay him no mind and pay this horrors no mind. You're safe with me. And he's going to try and ingratiate himself with her and find out why it is that out of all the people here, she in particular is so horrified by it.
Okay, I think you've got that. I think Black Jell has given you the leverage you need to convince her to come with you or go along with you on that. So you have a good reason to ask them. Roll plus subtle.
Cool. I'm on my laptop currently, so I'm just going to do it on Google Dice, and I will switch to it after the break. But of course, when you click on the dice in Google Dice, they disappear. Oof, well, it's a good job I've got a +2 in... No, I've only got a +1 in subtle. That is a 6. It's a miss.
Oh, okay. She vomits rotten fish over you. Finally, Jose, things have taken a turn. And she is vomiting far more rotten fish guts than she should be able to hold in her stomach. Jose, what is Fynn doing? Fynn, what is Fynn doing?
Wow. Wobbly fish out. I think there are some children around him that are screaming. So he sat over kind of with the villagers, but he tries to keep a low profile when he enters a new town because people are sometimes suspicious of him. And so there are screaming children. So I think he is going to grab the slave girl and force her out of the hall because she's projectile vomiting over all these children.
Okay. And that, I think, is where we'll take our first break. Thank you for having the patience to wait that extra bit just to get to a decent break point. Shall we have 10 minutes on this first one? Back in our seats about hour? See you then. So we come back with Fynn having taken Effa, the slave, out of the hall. Solinus kind of covered in rotting fish bits. Everyone else has stampeded out of the hall, I think, as a consequence of this. Cadog is looking around. Black Jell, have you still got your, are you tempted to eat the fish? Because it is rotting.
I will suck its eye.
Of course you will. Of course you will.
I will attempt to get the fish away from Black Jell because I feel that, yes, no.
It's a good weapon.
Yes, but you can't eat it.
So, Cadog, this has happened. You do have a start of session move. I don't know if now would be a good time to trigger it.
I can
trigger
my start of session move.
So this is Enemy of God. At the start of every session, tell us something you did for God in the past that you consider dishonorable. Pray for your victims' forgiveness and roll plus steal.
Okay.
So what is this event?
I think I remember, since this is very fish-centered thing in this village here, I remember that while I was on a mission and I had to get somewhere, and I took a fisherman, the boat of a fisherman's family. It was their livelihood, but I had to because it was the command of my superior in the order. I think it was it was dishonorable for me to do that, to steal, not steal, but just take their livelihood. It wasn't like I was sneaking it, and I was just taking it because I have a sword and a horse, and they couldn't do anything about it. But I still think about that, and that village brings it back a little. What I did back then.
You feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think God hears your prayers for forgiveness. Let's see what God thinks. Roll plus steal.
Yeah. So I've got a 9.
On 7+, you hold 1 to spend now or later in the session to say how a vision identifies an enemy of God against whom you roll with advantage when you confront them for the first time. On 7 to 9, God tells you to do something you consider dishonorable during the session in return for his help. If you refuse or fail, you will owe God a debt by the end of the session. And I think, how does God talk to you? Or you know,
no,
how does God communicate with you? Or is it St. Adrian?
Is it St. Adrian? I hear St. Adrian's voice in my head, and it is a very deep, manly voice that resounds like the tolling of the bell in a very severe manner. This is not a conversation. This is just do this, do that. This is
dishonor the pagan priest.
Okay, dishonor the pagan priest. That seems doable. And one other question: should I write the stealing a fisherman or taking a fisherman's boat on?
Yeah, the down there where.
Okay.
The reveal, blah blah blah, down there on row 50 some odd. Just for reference, the first little hint of your previous life. Okay. But yes, dishonor the pagan priest.
Oh, that should not be hard right now, right? This is a perfect opportunity.
So are you looking to kind of get that done early?
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's here. There's a lot of dead fish. perfect
How
opportunity.
are you gonna what form are you gonna try and make him feel small and dishonored?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab him, tell him that he can't eat that, whatever he's eating right now or has in his hands, like I've just told Black Jell, and then I'm just bodily carry him out of the hall. Like I'm protecting him from all the fish.
So you're carrying the priest out of the hall
Yep.
as if you're protecting him.
Yeah, as if he needs that.
How is that dishonoring him?
Yeah, as if he needs that. He's a priest.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right, right.
I'm not.
So you
I'm
make
not,
a fuss.
Yeah, and then
I
I'm grabbing him like he's a sack of potatoes. I don't know what potatoes are, but turnips, sack of turnips.
Fine. So I think that he was about to go and talk to the Lord, who's looking horrified. But you just throw him over your shoulder and casually, take him out. Don't worry, I'll keep him safe. Yeah, fine, we'll count that one done. What about Solinus, dripping as he is with rotting fish gut?
He wipes it off his feet and sighs and bends down to inspect the one of the many fish that one presumes are no longer screaming.
They've stopped screaming. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he pulls out that knife, skewers it, and inspects it.
That sounds like look about you.
Yeah, just doesn't it?
When you consider anyone or anything or any risks, opportunities, or clues in the scene, roll plus sense.
Dice room. Come on. The visual dice room. It's been a long time. Oh, good lord. So miss.
It is. I will remind you of the move Help Yourself. When you're dissatisfied with the outcome of a roll, say how your calling or seeming is relevant to the current action. And then you could owe your god a debt to re-roll one or both. Can you make a connection with your calling as a rogue?
My calling as a rogue.
Or let it fail. I mean,
no, you know what? I think that when you're a rogue, everyone, what's better than stealing something high value and selling it? It is taking something low value and passing it off as something high value, and that way you get the best of both worlds. So, quite used to looking closely at things and peering past. Peering past the scales, one might say.
Okay, the scales fall from your eye.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
go down, increase your debt to your god. That will reduce your favor, and you can re-roll one or both of those dice.
I owe them one. Oh, no, wait, it's not the old god, it's the Christ god, isn't it?
It is. I think I've made it bold to make it stand out.
Yes. I will re-roll both dice because I rolled a 1 and a 2. Hey, that's a 7 finally.
Close run thing, though. So on a 7+, choose one. Ask a question about the location of situation. Well, you could read them,
Yeah, I think that if you're up for it, what I would say is that these are we've got a stinking river and a treacherous fen. We don't have a lake, do we?
No.
So what I would say is that these are actually these are fish that wouldn't be found in the stinking river. These are fish that I'm familiar with from the coast.
Fine. So they're not even local fish.
Yeah.
So that makes them even weirder.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Black Jell.
The fish guts that this girl spewed everywhere.
Yeah.
I shall start sifting through them, looking for signs of ill repute or acts of the gods. I'm going to look about me.
Go
in the
ahead.
guts.
Roll plus sense to examine the guts. Everyone's a winner.
6.
Do you want to? I mean, I'm curious whether you see this as fitting within your calling as a loon.
It seems wrong to keep in.
Well,
invoking
it'll pay off in the long term because your favor will drop and your chance of invoking your gift will drift.
No, let's take the less than 6.
Okay. You're sorting through it and something bites you and scuttles away out of sight.
Evil.
Outside the hall. Oh, I've just remembered something I should have been telling you at the start. If you just look at your character sheets, can you see this little tick box next to each of the attributes? Every time you roll with one of them, tick that box. When all 4 are ticked, you will get an XP. Sorry. That's quite important, really. Sorry. Fynn, you dragged Effa outside, ostensibly to protect the children.
The little ones.
Cadog has just come out carrying the priest rather negligently. What, if any, interaction do we see between you and Effa?
I think Fynn, there's a trough right outside, and Fynn has placed her head right over the trough and is saying, "Just let it all out, woman. Just let it all out." She's filling the trough with fish guts until
I think
it's over.
I think after the explosive vomiting, she spits and clears, but the vomiting has stopped.
Okay.
So you don't have that to worry about anymore. And she's clearly shaken by all of this. You know, she was worried when it happened, frozen in terror at what was going on, and particularly Black Jell's part of it, and then the projectile vomiting of stuff that she shouldn't have in there. What do you do, Fynn?
The curse has come down hard on you. What's going on here, woman?
I think she's shaken enough for you to try to convince her to answer your question. Yeah, but I think first, this is quite a up close and personal.
Yes.
So I think you need to test seeming human.
Okay.
Though you clothe yourselves in the appearance of humanity, mortals can sometimes sense your true nature. Roll plus soul.
Oh my, that's not good.
Oh
That's a
my.
3 plus 2 is still a 5.
Well, this sits within your calling as a skin changer. Do you want to owe your god a debt to reroll one or both of those die? Or do you want to let it roll?
I think I'm well. So the outcome of letting it roll, letting it stand, is that people will. Well, actually, she will be not more than suspicious of me. Something really bad will happen.
Say which aspect of your true nature? Yeah, beware pitchforks and torches as they spread the word and are believed. And whether they believe a slave is a different question.
Right.
Particularly one who just vomited fish guts around the place to those that maybe noticed. But pays your money, takes your choice, Fynn. What do you want to do?
I think maybe I'll let it stand. I think Finn's approach to her was to try to intimidate her into telling him the truth. So maybe this his monstrousness being revealed will serve that purpose as well, although it will have other bad repercussions.
Do you want to go for a guttural growl as part of that?
Yeah, I think a guttural growl and some glowing eyes, you know, and don't imagine you can lie to me.
And she looks at you, breaks free, and runs into the dark. Now, what are you going to do with this priest now that you've kind of embarrassed him, Cadog?
I'll put him down and I'll say, stay here. Here, you'll be safe.
Pat him on the head.
Pat him on the head, yeah. And maybe shield him a little from whatever Finn's doing over there, because yeah, well. And then I'll get my sword and try to have a think.
Fine. Now, a mechanic in the game is at the end of any scene, one of you has the option to declare an insight.
Oh.
That may build towards the solution of what's going on here. So I'm curious whether anyone has an insight that they want to share and see whether the rest of the group take it. Go ahead, Solinus. Probably sluicing himself off at the horse trough outside.
Yeah, the slave girl's past. She cleared something, you know, something about this is clearly connected to the slave girl's past.
Anybody want to come up with a different one, or will that do as our first insight? I'm not hearing alternatives. So on the Thrydingas tab, Solinus, the slave girl's past is connected to this. Fine. And what are you therefore going to do next, folks? Black Jell, what's your thinking about where your investigations into finding this dark presence or feature? Where do you go? What do you do?
I'm going to convince the alewife to tell us where she gathers her ingredients for her ale from.
Okay. On your own? This is just a go talk to the alewife. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Solinus? What are you thinking here?
Would the slave girl be owned by the Lord?
I suppose you could try to find out who owns her. It's likely to be the Lord, yeah.
Yeah. I think I will ask the Lord if I can. If I'm still I will sweep away. I will grab one of the serving platters off the table.
Leave it as you're going to go and talk to the Lord for this moment.
Okay.
I'll come back round for the detail in a minute, just as I will with Paul. Cadog, what about you? You've patted the priest on the head, and he looks suitably embarrassed.
Okay.
What plans do you have in furthering your insight into what's going on here?
I was supposed to do something to do a task to gain the knowledge I desire.
Yeah, at midnight you need a midnight vigil. So we're a bit short of midnight yet.
It's not midnight yet. Okay, that's cool. In which case, I mean, everybody's talking about the slave girl. I think she ran off. That doesn't sound terribly safe. So I guess I'll follow.
Follow the slave girl.
Yeah, and taking my sword with me, just in case we get attacked by a fish or something.
Fine. Save the slave girl, save the world. What about Fynn?
Well, Fynn was also going to follow the slave girl because he's not done with her yet. But he was going to follow her at a distance, so maybe we'll follow her together.
Oh, yeah.
Fine.
You have the nose maybe for following people in the dark.
So Cadog and Fynn off you go to find the slave girl. Let's start with Black Jell and the alewife. So it's pretty easy to find the alewife. You know, albeit the river stinks, you can still smell the oats roasting and the whatever other ingredients she keeps going in her boiling pot. So you follow that smell, and there is Beorberga, the alewife. Looks like she's getting ready to kind of close the door because this has been a fairly scary night. But so what's the approach? What do we see?
Alewife, your ale is so fine, but the river is so diseased. Where do you gather your ingredients and your water from?
I think I'll treat this as look about you, to be honest, rather than convince her to answer. I don't think this is a difficult question for her to answer. So look about you. Roll plus sense.
Nine.
Okay, 7 plus. Choose one. Ask a question about the location, situation, someone or something. Sounds like that's it, isn't it?
Yep.
She collects them. She uses the crop, the oats as the base, but she flavors her ale with some herbs and stuff that she collects up on the edge of the fen.
The fen is clear of disease.
But don't go in.
Why?
It's not a good place. It's not a good place.
Thank you, alewife.
Any particular insight you want to kind of claim out of that little interchange?
Yeah, well, I think the sinister fen is free of disease.
And that's peculiar. I'm not going to put disease in. Is not tainted.
Yeah,
because that keeps it open. And that's perhaps unusual because the
it's a
river
body of water,
flows.
fen is.
It flows from the fen. The fen is upstream from the river, so the fen is not tainted. Okay. What about Solinus going back into? You talked about PbtA. What do we see?
He begins to sweep up the dead fish from the floor, and oh my lord, what a mess it's been made of your fine haul here. Is there? I noted that the slave girl seemed most upset. Thin nerves, that one. Is she yours?
Which slave girl? I didn't notice. I mean the fish have been dying for a week or two, but this.
Yes, not dying like this one supposes. Yes, no, it was. I didn't catch her name. I only caught her her vomit. And he brushes at his feet. I'd like to just basically. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to. I knew someone once. When I exchange a few words with a mortal NPC, tell us of someone in your past that they remind you of.
Okay.
And I think that
roll to look about you with advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they remind me of. They remind me of the potentate of my ward of Londinium, whatever that would have been. The authority figure, a man who sat very high and saw very little of what went on beneath him.
Okay.
And I think I'd like to roll to look about to, sort of softly pump him for information on this. His attitude towards Aoife, the slave girl.
Roll with advantage. Roll 3 dice. Take the top 2.
Disable my VPN, or I will have to keep connecting back to Org, Rippin, Eotenweard. Hey, finally rolled. I didn't even need the advantage. I rolled an 11 on 2 dice. Finally.
Fine. Well, I mean, what a waste of that third dice, though. So
Luckily, I get
11.
it every time I talk to anyone. So
So 11 means that you get 2. 7 plus choose 1, 10 plus roll with advantage if you then act on the answer you received or the question or the detail that was added. Do you want to add a detail, or do you want to answer a question?
I think that the detail I would like to let slip is that Aoife, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on my understanding of slaves during this period, but that Aoife has been traded, and she originally hails from a fishing village on the coast.
Okay.
So my understanding is that we're quite far inland. So yeah, she's not from this village originally. You know, she's one of the few people from a long way away. Ultimately.
Okay. Let's put that in there. Slave girl from a fishing village.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd actually like to leave it ambiguous, because I think that this lord is just like, oh, one of those coastal savages or something. I don't know. She came from far away, you know.
Fine. Let's make it from the coast. Fine. Let's cut to Fynn and Cadog trailing Effa the slave girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Cadog.
I mean, let's have a bit of a scene between the pair of you, because I'm just curious to see some interactions here.
Cadog.
Yeah.
The girl knows more than she's saying.
Yeah.
I've scared her, but
yeah, you have.
she will need a savior.
Oh, wow, okay. I'll try my best. Maybe you can go over there and growl a little, so I come from over here and she can run into me, some kind of.
She's over in that direction.
Oh,
I can hear her.
Then okay, that's fine.
I'll growl
pretty
from the
dark.
shadows.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
You show up, shining knight.
I try my best.
She's heading out of the village, upriver.
Okay.
Towards the fen.
Oh, towards the fen. Okay. I try to maybe not cut her off, but a little. I mean, I imagine that I'm a little taller than she is and maybe faster, so I'll try to kind of. I'll just call to her and at one point, and I call, "Hey, girl, wait up! It's not safe for you out here."
Let's have you. I think this is probably face a challenge with subtle, because the challenge is: will she be prepared to just hold up, or will she continue running into the night?
Yeah, subtle, huh? Yeah, that's a 5. That's not too great.
Well, yeah, you get to tick the subtle box. You know,
yeah, yeah, I know, but can I use my? I mean, I'm a sword of God. I'm kind of a protector. Can I invoke that to to my god and
invoke your calling and help yourself by rolling one or both dice? Just owe yourself, oh god, a debt.
Okay, I will re-roll just one of the dice. Let's see. So that's an 8. That's a 7.
Okay.
Well, okay.
So you do it, but the fate chooses one. Respite is temporary. You cause her to pause enough for you to do something, but I think that then she's probably going to run again.
Okay.
So what do you want to do with that? Or is it Fynn who's going to exploit that, breaking her flight?
I think what sorry? Can I?
Go ahead.
Just,
you go.
I would like to use this pause of hers just to position myself in a right place, so that if she runs, she will run into the wolf, and that maybe would convince her that is the worst option here. And I will try to talk in a friendly manner to her, like you're not safe out here. There's wild animals. Come on.
So I think
has okay.
So I think if you can convince her she'll stay put? Or do you actually want her to run into Fynn? What are you thinking, Cadog?
Whatever. I mean, I will hope that Fynn doesn't hurt her. So I'm pretty sure he wouldn't, because
I think we played this game before.
yeah, yeah, okay.
So I think Fynn
Yeah.
has in the pause, he's in the shadows anyways. He's taken his wolf form and bolted past her up to be on the far side of her. So if she attempts to run again, he can growl and scare her.
Fine. I think she does run. She does try to run. Runs 10 steps into the dark, and there's a of a wolf,
glowing red eyes,
and she backs off. So she is fixed right now. What are you going to do with the fix, Cadog? She's there. She's frightened again.
I'll tell her that maybe she should just be careful, come to me, and I will point my sword in the direction of the wolf. Like, I can protect her. Don't worry. Maybe, if you tell me what's going on here, I don't know, I could go and help.
Then let's have you roll to convince her that you are a friendly face in the way that Fynn failed miserably earlier. So convince them. Roll with subtle.
Okay. Is there is a help roll, right?
There is, and the way that works is if you're dissatisfied.
Okay.
When you describe how you intend to hinder. Afterwards, if this goes badly, maybe Fynn can intervene to help.
Okay. Let's see. Come on, guys. Be nice to me. You can do it. Oh, wow. Snake eyes. No.
This would have to go pretty well as a help, Fynn. If you can think of, being more aggressive would count as helping, I think, in this case.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to try? Because if you do very well, that could go from a fail to a success.
Sure. And the help roll is, I have advantage on the help roll.
There you go. Because
I'm a wingman.
You're a wingman. You're a born wingman. So roll to help. Roll plus, I think it's steal.
Steal. Okay.
3 dice. Take the top 2.
I got a couple of dice here. Yes. New color. All right. And I roll all 3, right? I can't seem to select. Oh, there we go. Oops, the third one. There we go. Sorry. All right.
Well,
so that is a 9 plus 1 is a 10.
Their outcome increases by 1 whole step. So that goes from fail to 7+. All is well with the world. 7 to 9, they'll do it, but they choose 1. They insist on doing it their way. They will talk to you if you escort them to the fen.
Okay. What? Fine, but beware the wolf. I'll escort her to the fen because that's the way to get her to talk. Fine.
And I think
Black
if I
Jell.
can, go ahead.
No,
can I just narrate that role for a little bit? I think what happened was that Fynn actually lashed out to try to bite the edge of her gown and grabbed it, and then Cadog knows what to do at that point, which is to brandish his sword, and then Fynn ran off, frightened of the sword.
Yeah, probably yelled a little.
And a couple of yelps too.
Just by the might of St. Adrian.
Black Jell. you got that from the alewife. Where do you want to go next? What do you want to do next?
I shall hop over to the hall and see my good friend Solinus and say, "There is a breakthrough, Solinus. There is a breakthrough."
Oh yeah, the fish been talking to you again, have they?
Worse, the woman of the booze has spoken to me.
Ah, well, that's an improvement on your normal smell.
As I lick my hand. The Fynn is free of taint. We must go there and investigate.
Well, I suppose my shoes are already soiled.
I could soil them some more if you wish.
Be off with you, and he pushes Black Jell away, and grabs his gear from outside the front, and sets off. We set off towards the Fynn.
Okay. I mean, for the purpose of the of meta here, do you want to stay as two separate pairs, or do you want to get back together at the Fynn? You can frame it any which way you like. Fynn, Cadog, you're ahead. You could get there first, or you can, the others can catch you up, because that's the way speed moves in narrative.
Considering that I am pretty tired, I think it might be better if we just met up.
Fine. You're doing very well, given that you're not 100%. So we appreciate it. I'm inclined to just put a quick 5 or 6 minute break in right now, because I need one. So I'm going to pause the recording. Shall we say we'd be back at, is 10 past too short?
It's after 10 past, yeah.
10 past, see you then. So I think, as in any good fiction, our heroes are back together as they head towards the sinister Fynn, led by Effa, the dishonest slave. Who's taking the lead here? Is it Cadog and Effa? Who are, and people, and Fynn, are you still in wolf form, or have you turned back into a human, got dressed again, and reappeared in the scene?
Oh, that's right, the whole dressing part, yes.
I know, it's a real pain in the bum, the whole werewolf thing.
Well, I had a lot of darkness to do that all in, so it was too much of an issue here. So yeah, I think I'm back, but I'm remaining in the shadows to not spook any more than she's already been spooked.
Okay. And Black Jell and Solinus, but Cadog in the lead. Solinus, as she leads you towards the Fynn, and you might want to look at the locations tab, folks. This sinister, this requires subtle, Cadog. Subtle to avoid or to identify what it is about this thing what is this sinister aura. So you can roll with subtle, or you can make a case for something else at disadvantage.
Oh, let me look. I mean, subtle isn't my strength. I'm not a subtle guy. Maybe I can just use my senses to just, get some impressions from there.
Okay. So yeah, you're welcome to roll with sense at disadvantage. So 3 dice, bottom 2.
Yeah, this will go well. I'll just put this one out, and then I roll all 3 of them. Yep, this does not go well. It's a 6.
I will offer you the option to help yourself.
It's a 5. I'm sorry. Can I?
Oh
yeah, sure.
You can always owe your god a debt to.
Sure, I will help myself. Come on, God, guide me. Yeah, thanks, God. Well done.
There you go. So 7 becomes 8.
11.
No, bottom 2.
Oh, bottom 2. You're right. Becomes 8. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you succeed in facing that challenge. You are not surprised by a sinister presence, but you know that there is a sinister presence here.
Cool.
There is something lurking in the waters and in the reed beds.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Can I do the insight thingy here?
We're not really at the end of the
Okay.
scene.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you and Fynn could agree an insight from the interaction with Effa
Oh yeah.
if you wanted to. Is there something logical that comes out of that?
Maybe it's that the Fynn is not very friendly to fish in and of itself. Like there's a lot of
I don't know how you get that out of the interaction with
Yeah,
Effa.
that's true. Okay. Fine.
Fynn, any offer for that? Because I should
Well,
have
there's
asked you at the
something
end of that
about
scene.
the mystery is like why she asked to go to the Fynn, why she insists on going to the Fynn. And so I think there's some kind of insight that she believes that she can somehow avert this curse by going to the Fynn. But I'm not sure how. I could make it more specific.
No.
Or not.
I think that's a nicely. If I could spell believes, that would be great. Effa believes she can avert the curse at the Fynn. I think that's a fair outcome for that. Okay. So Cadog, there is definitely something lurking in the reeds here. And there's a primitive raft that Effa takes you to, and all four of you get on. Who's poling the raft through the fens?
I'm holding my sword to.
Of course you are. You're far too busy holding a sword.
Somebody else can pull the raft, please.
And this opens the question, Fynn, of whether you are going to join them on the raft or not.
I think
But
I
it
have
looks
to
like
follow behind because she's gonna freak out if she sees me.
okay. Solinus or Black Jell poling this raft, following Effa's instructions.
I like to imagine that Black Jell picks up the pole and dances around it before Solinus rolls his eyes and grabs it off him and begins to push it along instead.
Okay. We are getting by now, I would think, Cadog, towards midnight. When you remember, you were told if you undertook a lonely vigil at midnight, you would get an answer. So if you can set that up, difficult on the raft, but keep that in mind.
Lonely vigils is the point here, right?
Yeah,
I feel a bit lonely between all these people, but I don't know if that qualifies.
Insufficiently lonely.
Insufficiently lonely. Well, in which case I will tell Solinus, wait a moment. I need to get to that hillock and pray.
Well, let's see if said hillock exists. I think then, Cadog, I'm going to go with you again. I think this is about soul. This is a matter of faith now, isn't it? So this is location place move. Roll with soul.
Yeah, I think I fall into the water. This was not a hillock.
Yeah, that wasn't a hillock. So on 6+, the threat associated with this place acts against you while the atmosphere becomes oppressive and heavy with menace, placing you at disadvantage until you leave this place. Your confidence is bolstered by the achievement of 10+ in any action while you're here, or you humble the threat. Cadog, as you kind of step into the reeds, heading to what you think is solid ground, a water drake rears its head from out of the reeds and attacks you.
Oops.
This is a sinuous, scaled, dragon-headed creature. What do you do? Because you're at the sharp end. Run, duck, confront it? What's
I mean,
your
I'm
choice?
the sword of God. What do you think I do? I mean, it's I hit it with my broadsword, my longsword, my sword.
Okay. So let's
Axe?
go to the common move on confront them. They have this Drake has a set of
Ooh.
defenses.
And this is an enemy of God.
Okay, you declare
Yes.
enemy of God.
Mhm.
So its defenses are hard scales,
Mhm.
and it is remarkably swift in striking.
Okay.
You have to overcome those defenses
Mhm.
before you can humble it.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's have you tell me, are you trying to deal with the swift strike or the hard scales?
The swift strike, I think, or
That
maybe
would
the hard scales, because of swift strike. I've got a swift strike of my own, and I've got my friends out there. So
this
hard
is blunt force against this
Yep.
thing. Yeah. Okay. Let's have you roll to confront with steel.
Mhm.
Just Alan, did you say earlier that for the remainder of this scene, Cadog rolls at disadvantage?
Oh yes, I did. Because
But I
of
don't, because it's an enemy
That's
of God.
nasty.
the enemy of God means it cancels. So
Or
straight flat.
Yeah. So otherwise,
Well, just let me check enemy of God. Doesn't
Yep.
it?
It gives me advantage against in the
Yeah.
first.
So that cancels.
That's
So
why I did that.
let's have you confront then. So roll plus steel.
Yep.
Flat.
Well,
Wow.
wow, I've got a 5.
Do you want to?
No, wait, no, that's fine. I've got a 5.
You're going to stick with 5. Okay, you take harm, which in the case of something that is larger than mortal scale, you take 3 harm.
Take 2 because I've got a mail shirt.
And harm goes down. So, if you go to the condition bit of the character keeper, you mark the first column 3 down. So that's bad enough to get you into the dying category.
No, it's not. I've got a mail shirt.
Oh, you've got a mail shirt. So
Yes.
you have. So a nasty blow.
Yeah.
And they choose 1 from the 7+, and they force disadvantage on you.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to go to our rogue next, I think, because Fynn, if you're gonna wolf out, it's probably going to take you a moment to do it. So Solinus, you're light-fingered, you're quick on the uptake. What do you do?
I run a raft is to there's not enough space for me to draw a bow, and it's too unsteady, it's too clustered. I leap forward with my axe and try and drive off this worm that has Cadog between its jaws.
Okay. Are you trying to overcome its hard scales, which will require you to use steal or cunningly spot the weak spot with subtle, or sense when it's going to make its strike and avoid it?
I think maybe now that you've put it in my head, I'm going to try and spot its weak spot in its scales.
A subtle.
Yeah.
Confront them with subtle.
That's box cards. Well, nearly 10.
So does it stay at 10? I'm assuming that subtle keeps you there or thereabouts.
Yeah, it keeps me at 11 actually overall. Yeah.
Okay. So on 7+, the defenses are raised. So you've spotted the weak spot. Everyone now knows where the weak spot is. The hard scales are no longer a defense. Once you've removed all its defenses, you can try to humble it.
I think I smack off with the axe the first time, right, and it skitters off the scales, and then as it rears back and hisses, the moonlight catches on like a patch that's less shiny, and I gesture with my axe and say, "There, beneath the mouth."
Yes, and then it chooses one, which is to inflict harm on you. So 3 harm.
Cool. Is there anything I can do to avoid that?
Not really. Oh yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, no, 3 harm. Keep that in mind. You roll 10 plus. You get to choose one.
And then this is humble them, is it?
Say that again. Sorry, I can't hear.
Confront them, isn't it? Confront them, not humble them.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm scroll to. So on a 10 plus, you know what? I'll sacrifice an item of gear to block their attacks, so no harm reaches me or what I protect. As it whips towards me, and I try and get that weak spot, but instead the axe gets caught in its jaws, and it snatches it away.
Fine. So axe is gone, but you still got rid of the weak spot is now available to all. I'll go to Fynn unless Black Jell wants to do something irrational.
Gods, what is its weak spot? Aid us.
Is this triggering insight?
Look about me.
Oh.
Ask the fates to reveal a threat's weakness or confirm that they have none.
Fine. Go ahead. Let's have you roll to look about you. Roll plus sense.
9.
9. I can confirm it has no particular weakness beyond that, the weak point in the hard scales. So, Fynn, what do you do?
This
It
is
still has its
unleashed.
swift strike going for it.
Yeah. And so that means that it still has a defense. It can't be harmed just yet, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So so I think Fynn has transformed, unleashed his beast, obviously, in this scenario, and is ready for blood, and is in whatever his half wolf, half man form, and leaps out. I think he's going to. Does it have legs, or is it just a snake kind of thing?
It's a snaky kind of thing.
I'm just trying to think how to stop it from being swift. But I guess
you could wrestle it. Just hold
Wrestle
it
it.
still.
hold it still. Okay, I could give that a shot. And a bite attack, I suppose. It would be. Oh no, it's not. Is it? Do I choose an attack?
You can absolutely, yeah. So you leap at it and you try. Yeah.
On the back of its head, yeah, on the back of it, like back of its neck there, and try to give it a big bite down.
Okay.
To try to distract it because it's about to finish a Cadog off.
Fine. So let's have you roll. I think that's with steel, that description.
Yeah.
So roll plus steel. And do you have any other, the Beast Unleashed?
I do have the Beast Unleashed. It gives me advantage, I think, doesn't it?
Yes, it adds 1 to your roll.
Oh, adds 1 die to my roll. Oh no, it adds 1 to my roll. Okay.
Adds 1 to your roll.
Okay, so then I roll 2 die with steel, which is 1, and the Beast Unleashed, which is another 1, so that's +2. Okay. Let's see what happens. So it's a 10.
Oh wow! So on a 10, you have indeed got rid of its swift strike. Maybe you've just held on to it, so it's now worried about you not striking somebody else. On 7+, it chooses. I think it will use one of its powers, which it has the power of entangle. Heroes in the water with it must face a challenge to avoid being placed at disadvantage until they can cancel it by gaining advantage. So we'll deal with that next time around. But its sinuous body is wrapping around you.
Yeah. So the image I get is me grasping it with the teeth, and then the body coiling around me, and then turning in the water.
Okay. Cadog, background to you.
Yep, I'm still at a disadvantage, right? But
sadly.
I can try to hurt it now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can keep on, because now all its defenses are gone.
Mm-hmm.
You now have the option to humble it.
Okay, and what does that entail?
That entails you telling me how you choose to humble it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you get, if you succeed, you get to decide whether you end it or anything else. Now, because it's not going to necessarily talk to you, you might want to just end it. But
I think I want to try to do that because, I mean, Yeah. Switching weapons might be a good choice here because I have a spear, but I think that might be on the horse. So right now I think I'll just stick with the sword. And
Okay.
speaking of sticking, I'll stick it with my sword.
Roll plus steel.
But with a disadvantage, right? Because I'm
With
still,
disadvantage, because
yeah,
it knocked you off your feet a bit.
yeah, I'm still in the bog thingy kind of. But that's a 5, that's a 7.
7 plus. Describe how you humble them. They're at your mercy. Do they
Okay.
receive it, or do you end them?
I think I mean they're trying to throttle my friend Fynn here. I'm not, I don't feel very merciful. They're an enemy of God.
Fine, fine. Yes, you've declared them as such, and so how do you end them?
Well, I imagine that we have this wolf entangled with a snake, and the snake is rearing up, maybe to strike. And I think Solinus pointed out the weak point right under the jaw. Yeah, so when it rears up and shows its throat, just sneak, cut off the head.
And it tumbles into the water. Black Jell.
I will say one thing.
Oh, go on.
That was not a hillock. I'm sorry.
Black Jell. The head falls at your feet. What do you do?
I will spoon out one of its eyeballs. Hold it in the air.
Fist-sized eyeball. The trouble is, in all of that, Effa is missing. Disappeared into the night because nobody kept an eye on her. Everybody got engaged.
I will point the direction. I will look about me to try and, or the eye will look about.
Can it be? Where's the girl? Did anyone see her? I didn't see her. I didn't see her. Did you see her, my friend?
So I think that probably the way this plays is that I think that this might be a good place to have our commercial break for the next episode, because she's disappeared into the dark. You're in the dark in the fen. That would seem to me to be a good place where you would break the for next episode. And it also allows me to just do the end of session bits and bobs with a bit of time and do stars and wishes. So in terms of end of session, I notice that our Sword of God has ticked all 4 of the attribute boxes. So you can clear those 4, Sabine, and mark your first XP. When you get 6 XP, you get an improvement.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
So clear your 4, mark XP. But also, let me work my starting with Black Jell. Did you help yourself by invoking your calling?
What's my calling? What, be a loon?
Well, did you use the move help yourself, which is to owe your god a debt in order to improve an outcome?
No.
Okay. Did you put yourself at risk by telling the truth as you see it?
Don't think so.
Did you address a challenge with irrationality?
Yes, I did.
Mark that one. That buys you an XP. Let's move along to our rogue. Did you help yourself by invoking your calling?
I did.
You did when you looked at that fish. So put a tick in, help yourself by invoking your calling. Did you put yourself at risk to cheat or steal, even in a good cause?
No, I didn't cheat anyone.
No. Did you address a challenge with guile?
Yes.
Tell us which one.
I I very subtly asked the Lord about the
You
sermon.
manipulated the Lord. Yeah, fair point. So that's 2 XP for you. Moving along to our Sword of God. Did you help yourself by invoking your calling?
Multiple times.
Yes, alas, only 1 XP. Put yourself at risk to confront an enemy of God.
Yeah, the snake.
I think that was a risk. Addressed a challenge with courage.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think that you stepped up for the snake, or maybe, the water drake didn't leave you much option. So that's 3 XP. And finally, our Skinchanger. Did you invoke your seeming, your wolfness or your hunterness to get help from gods?
Well, the wolfness, definitely.
But did you use the move help yourself? I can't remember.
Oh, help yourself?
The one that requires you to owe your god a debt.
I don't
No,
believe
I don't think I did. I don't
No,
think I did.
you didn't pay to reroll.
Right.
Did your burden put you at risk?
That's the longing, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it did. Yeah.
But you did address a challenge with aggression or violence. Yeah, so 1 XP. Okay.
Okay.
So that's the end of session. I'd like a quick stars and wishes, if that's okay. So I can think about what Effa's going to do next time. In the order I can see you, Jose, any stars, any wishes?
Goodness. Stars, thank you to Alan for including me in this lovely adventure, and being patient with me, still learning the ropes. Sabine, thank you for the good cop, bad cop routine with Iffa. That was fun. And Paul, I loved picking up petition and talking to it straight out. That was a lovely scene. And let's see. And Will, what is it? It's something about the voices that you use for this. It's a thing that's been haunting me since that game I played with you a while back. I can't put my finger on what it is, but it just draws me into your character really quickly. And so I wish I had that skill myself. Wishes. I think I just want to become more fluid with the game so that I'm not kind of stumbling over myself between the moves and making the narrative and creating a narrative, and hopefully I'll get better at that.
I mean, don't sweat it. I mean, this is the first time I've run it in this kind of vaguely complete form. So we're all learning. Sabine, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, lots of stars, lots of wishes. I like being back in this world and using the system. I like the way the world building and the scenario building works. Yeah, like all the other characters, the Loon is delightfully lunatic, I guess. And I also like having a social character. I like having a bad cop. Yeah. So
what about wishes?
Wishes. I want to do my vigil at some point in the future to get, and I want to meet more enemies of God because I like fighting them, I think.
Well, in theory, 1 a session.
Yeah, yeah. I'll endeavor to make that work.
Okay. Will, what about you?
Of course, my star goes to Black Jell, entirely and utterly. Just a very fun character to imagine scenes with and around, and sort of like, even when we're all taking actions, having that Loon flittering around, sucking on their fingers and stinking up the place makes it delightful to me. I really enjoyed the fight. I thought that was very cinematic, and everyone's different roles, and it all played in well together for everyone. I loved, Fynn coming in with the this writhing worm, the body sort of like lithe and serpentine and too flickering, and then suddenly there's these jaws of a wolf wrapped around it that stop it long enough for Cadog to just whack its head clean off. Yeah, and I always love the session, the creating the characters and everything. And I'm glad I got to push it along a route that I wanted, which was, that she's a dishonest slave, but she's not necessarily dishonest for bad reasons. She's dishonest because she's the lowest on the polls, and obviously everyone's, who knows where that might go, but it's not like an immediate like, oh, she's a bastard. You know what I mean? She's the evil one behind all of this. Wishes. I think my wish is more of a general one for perhaps not this settlement, but I would love to see an opening incident that is not the Lord's Hall is suddenly struck by a supernatural event.
Fish.
Yeah, well, I just think that I think I've played this thing with you 3 times in terms of the Lord's opening thing, and I think every time it's been, you're sat down at a meal and the place has got problems, and then suddenly there's maybe like the first completely overtly supernatural event. And I think I'd like to have our arrival not, be like after the fact, to arrive after something like this has happened, or some sort of danger, raiding party. What I mean, like some sort of ongoing mystery, rather than like, oh, the river's dry, but now there's this happening.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, my hope. I mean, the supernatural is an easy go-to.
Yeah.
When you think you might only be playing the one settlement, I suppose in this is set up to play a number of different settlements, so I think we can mix and match those a bit more than maybe.
And I also think that ultimately, I'm not saying not the supernatural, but perhaps like not our presence there, or it not being the first time that it's happened, or some sort of like every full moon for the last month, it's been for the last year this has been happening, that kind of thing, which is I think the choice of you hear a conversation between 2 characters could be spun in any which way, right?
It could,
but I did have some mechanic questions which I can wait. We're done. So
well, let's wait till we've done. If they're specific.
Specific.
I think I've got the stars and the wishes. Paul, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, I mean, I took a bit of an easy cop out there going for the Loon. So stars to all the other players for picking slightly harder characters to play. But I thought from all 3 of you, I got a sense of the individual character very, very quickly. So we've got 4 unique players and unique characters at the table, and I got that from you guys very, very quickly. We've got the not super dishonest rogue. We've got the follow the faith sort of god, and we've got a sort of an oddball coming in from the side, the changeling, and I got the sense of Jose, your character there. That was really nice to see. So yeah, I took a bit of an easy one, but good on you guys for picking something a bit harder.
Can I just Paul, it's not easy to really commit.
Well, I find that easy. At least I'm not making cybernetic parts out of people. And to you, Alan, nice and effortless. It went really quick. I thought we got quite a lot done. Character gen and quite a bit of play. To me, that's wasn't a slow session. That was good and speedy. Lots of dice going down the range. Some good descriptions. Wishes going forwards. I'd like to see out a weakness on a creature, how that plays out, because I'm not too sure how it's going to fit in with. You got to knock these things off. Sort of Will described a weakness, but it's not really a weakness. He just exposed so something with a weakness.
Fine. I will try and find you something with a weakness. If not in this settlement,
that's fine.
In one soon. Because what it does is to place you at advantage when you exploit the weakness. That's great. Stars from me. Thank you for your patience, particularly those of you that have played this before, because it has changed, and you rolled with some of those changes. Great characters, beautifully embodied, and you are creating quite an interesting tale, I think, between you, which makes life easy for me. Sometimes it can feel like you're squeezing blood from a stone. So I'm going to pause the recording there. So first of all, are you content for me to publish the recording? Always feel it's nice to put that